Hello and welcome to Dr. Cammy and Karen Go Keto. Hi, Cammy. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great, Karen. How are you today?
I'm doing great too. Um, we got one posted earlier this week, a couple. I think you did a short also,
Hmm.
but we decided to do another interview or another video today. So we're going to talk about Cammy's experience flirtation with being in ketosis.
Yeah, so I just feel like right now I'm on the cusp of ketosis, and for a couple of reasons. One is because I haven't been binging on food. I've been eating much better in my diary, and when I look at it, I can say here that I've been good for at least a week, really on plan. Um, Today is the 21st of December, and the last time I ate a mini binge, I called it, was on December 14th. And prior to that, December 10th, I ate off plan um, quite a bit of high sugar processed food. So it's taking quicker. It's coming quicker. I'm coming into ketosis quicker and quicker as I'm fading off those binges that I'm doing. And a lot of that has been, working on self care and other ways to deal with stressors that come up in my life. So, yeah, it's just been really exciting. And um, I did start taking some exogenous ketones, and I think that's what's helping me kick into ketosis, obviously. But my body is so metabolically sick that I just feel like it's really not going to be able to do it by itself. I have a big enlarged fatty liver. I have insulin resistance with insulin levels that are 33 and supposed to be less than
Wow.
5. So my body's really struggling metabolically, and I think it's just going to need some help to kick in. So that's what I've been doing. And the cravings were bad about 3 days ago, 2 days ago, just really wanting high sweet carb foods because I'm off of sugar, flour, and wheat at the same time. So, but they came and they went. And one of the things that I did was nap, was sleep, and drink lots and lots of water. So that's been helping too. And then yesterday, I got over the keto flu. I had that for 2 days, very severe yesterday with extreme exhaustion, headaches, and also fatigue, just achy. So I just spent a lot of time in bed. I took my electrolyte supplements. I drank a lot of water. I stayed on my food plan. And so that's been helping. It's really exciting. And I'm starting to see it come off on the scale slowly but surely, and definitely in the way that I feel in my clothes. So yeah, that's exciting. Tomorrow I get to weigh in with Jeff and Cotterman, who we interviewed on
Yep.
Tuesday, and I'm going to do measurements and pinch my fat and look at everything that's going on there. So yeah, lots of exciting stuff going on.
Well, let's talk a little more about this, Cammy, that you talked about. First of all, you had a food plan in place. You talked about where you were on plan and where you haven't been on plan, and basically the last 2 weeks, right? And you also mentioned um, that you're keeping the journal, you're keeping a food journal as well because you're keeping your plan, and then you're looking at your plan and seeing what you've eaten off plan. So you're journaling about that. And now you're in ketosis. So I think it's pretty synergistic, especially adding those exogenous ketones, which for people who don't know, we talked about this with Jeff Cotterman too. Exogenous ketones ketones are the waste product of when your body is using fat as its fuel system. And so when you when you burn the fat, what's left over is ketones. Actually, I guess the ketones are actually the energy source that your body uses, right? Your brain uses the ketones if it's not using glucose. So when you burn your when you're on a ketogenic diet, your body will create those ketones, but you can also ingest them externally. So you can get pills, you can get drinks, you can get powders that are just ketones. They're just called exogenous ketones. And I think there's salts and esters. I think there are two different kinds that you can get, and you can just look online. Some are better than others. They're sometimes not very expensive, but they can be pricey. But like you said, you think that helped you kick into it can just help you be in a better place. And I do remember reading somewhere a long time ago that said, even if you're eating the standard American diet and you take in exogenous ketones, your body is more efficient in its use of energy. So that's what that's worth. So I think talk a little more about how you feel like all of it coming together, because it sounds like what you've just said. The self-care, and it sounds like the keto flu wasn't all that bad for you. And you talk about if you've ever been here before, or if you've been close to being here before, and did you have any fears or any excitement about getting back to ketosis?
All right. I don't think I've been in the place where I am right now ever before. I think because the self-love and appreciation and self-honor and self-respect was growing, but just wasn't prominent enough to overcome some of the negative self-talk that goes on in my head. And then there's there's shame and guilt and all kinds of things. That's what I was raised with, that I've been dealing with too, going way back and looking at, childhood things. And also spending more time in meditation and prayer and staying closer to God has helped me also. And so just being able it's kind of a balance, because as the negative self-talk starts to drop, with positive affirmations and looking in the mirror and appreciating, the freckles on my face or my wrinkles, or, just little things that happen as, self-love, acceptance, respect, appreciation, as that goes up, the negative self-talk, that goes down as those things go up. And so there's a balance there where I'm starting to hit it, where I haven't been before in the past. And so it's been work and it's been time. And that's the other thing. I'm so impatient. Karen knows how impatient I am.
You are impatient.
And so, time's been helping with that also. So yeah, this is a new place for me right now, and I'm really excited about it. The other component of it that I think is very important is, the actual food, overcoming, alcohol or drugs or, other things, is easier to do. But when you're overcoming food, you still got to eat and deal with that. And so trying to work in a healthy plan that is one that I can live with and tolerate and stick to, is one that has been quite a challenge. And then being able to do that by loving, appreciating, and respecting myself and saying, hey, yeah, I would love to have a big, huge glass of orange juice or a cookie or something sweet in my mouth right now, but I'm not going to do that, because in the long run, it's not what I'm up to.
Gotcha. Now, what about this? Because you did share with me earlier this week when you thought you were getting into ketosis. If you want to share that, since we're kind of talking about ketosis and the cusp of, you had some physical things that you went through besides the keto flu that you can let people know could be coming. And you also had some mental or psychological issues with it. Can you share that? Do you remember that, telling me that?
I don't remember the mental or psychological things that I said to you, but we can talk about that. But I do remember that I started to have a funny taste in my mouth. Originally, it was because this is the second time that I've tried to kick into keto. into ketosis. The last week I tried to do it, or 2 weeks ago, and then I just went off plan, and so I didn't get fully in. So now I'm at the cusp again, which is one of the reasons why we're doing this video, is to motivate me to keep going through that transition. And I had last time metal taste in my mouth, and then this time I didn't really appreciate a taste in my mouth. But previously it was smelling like burnt popcorn. I had this smell like burnt popcorn, but this time I had a smell that was more like a chemical kind of smell, like gas fumes or something, like exhaust fumes or something. It was very strange, and that only happened for a day. And then now I'm starting to appreciate what Jeff Cotterman was talking about the other day about a sweet smell, because as you're exuding the ketones from your body, you will have a different smell about you. And so that was something that I felt as I was getting ready to kick in. And just to say that the way that I'm checking my ketones is by dipping the little ketone stick in the urine and looking at that, and it just started coming up trace.
Now, when you see Jeff on Friday, which will be tomorrow, does he do the Keto Mojo and do it with your blood? Does he do your glucose and your
He
ketones?
does. He does
Okay.
all of my pinching with the calipers to look at the fat. He does some measurements to see what my muscles are doing. And then he puts them all into the tables. And then he checks my glucose and checks my ketones with the Keto Mojo. Yes.
So make sure you do the P strip tomorrow too, so you can see how accurate it is with Jeff's blood strip test.
Yeah.
That'll be interesting. The psychological thing I was talking about is you said you were afraid that you were going to go into ketosis, or maybe you were afraid you weren't going to go into ketosis and that you were going to eat off plan again. Do you remember saying that?
Yeah, I do remember saying that. That's my biggest fear. My biggest fear is that I will go off my food plan and eat sugary processed foods, which are going to set me back so far. And I've just worked so hard for what I've come to, to get to this point. I've worked hard. It's taken a lot of time, energy, and effort. And, 4 days of working well can be, slashed by, 3 pieces of chocolate or something. So when I'm thinking about going to eat something like that, or what usually happens is the thought comes first before I put myself in action to get there. Or, I have concerns over the holidays that I'll go to my sister's house and things will be sitting out available to eat, like in those little bowls. She has those little bowls all around of candy or whatever. Before I do that, I need to think about how hard I've worked and how far I've come. Before, it used to be like, oh, yeah, I've worked hard, but I didn't feel like I wasn't there yet. Well, now that I've lost, I'm getting close to losing around 30 pounds. It's coming close to 30. Like when I weigh in tomorrow with Jeff, I'm hoping it'll be around 27-pound loss, which so right now it's at 23. The last time we measured, which was 2 weeks ago. So when you get a little bit of that under your belt, so to speak, then you know that the fighting has been paying off, and you don't want to destroy that work that you've done.
Well, always remember it's a process and a lifestyle transition, right? So there's always tomorrow to get back on if you go off plan. But here's some ideas. What I hear about, you're going to your sister's for the holiday, right?
Mm-hmm.
So here's a test. Why don't you ask her not to put those foods out and see what her response is? It's interesting because, if you were having people over for the holidays, you may even still put those foods out. But, at some point in our lives, I think we're going to get to where we're going to say, hey, I'm not going to encourage anybody to eat the even if they're honey roasted peanuts, right? Maybe plain peanuts, but no honey roasted peanuts, or no M&Ms in a bowl, or Hershey's Kisses, or whatever it is that people like to share. But maybe for you, take some keto snacks to put into little bowls that can also be around her house, like olives. That's a perfect one to snack on. High in fat, I think pretty low in calories. macadamia nuts, but you got to watch those. So be judicious. And
Hmm.
I don't know what else
Hmm.
comes to mind. Maybe little cheese squares or something.
Hmm. Those cheese wisps that they have
Oh, that's
with
perfect.
the baked cheese, that you just can throw in a baggie. Yeah, and that's some great ideas, Karen. And those kinds of foods are easily available at the party where I'll be too, because for part of the appetizer, she always has a big vegetable tray. And so the veggies are there. I told her I would bring some of my homemade blue cheese dressing, so I know what's in there. There's no
Hmm.
sugar in it, and there's a lot of fat, and so I'm going to bring some of that to put out with the veggies. And then also, my food that I'm bringing is roasted vegetables. And so, sorry, that's my phone going off. I forgot to turn it off. So, roasted vegetables is what I'm bringing for the my food. And so that's going to be easy for me to eat a lot of those. And then she even had said, I'll have a salad for you, because my family knows, because it was last Mother's Day that I told them that I was going to start this journey last May, that I was going to be on this this keto lifestyle and starting this video. So they know to be supportive, and they are supportive. So she said, I'll have a meat dish there for you. There's going to be salad with no dressing on it that, we can put our own dressing on. And then there's appetizers that I can have with the vegetables and the blue cheese. And there might even be a little bit of shrimp there, a shrimp cocktail or something. I could even bring some of my own little shrimp that I have and eat that as a cocktail. That would be a great idea too. So yeah, you're right. Things that I can do that will be supportive.
So, also, I've never bought this book because I'm not a big drinker, but there is a keto cocktail cookbook out in the market somewhere, and it looked very interesting. Obviously, most of the things the mixes are switched with, the allulose or monk fruit or something like that. But, in a pinch, if you're still going to have your holidays, or you can, as Jeff was talking about in the video earlier, the low carb beer, you don't have to fully deprive yourself if those are the things that you're used to to have when you're celebrating the holidays. Um, so you're going to see Jeff tomorrow. So will you check in with us and let us know how your results are? Post a short, or if we can't come on and do a
Yeah, I'll
video.
post a short, or having posting what my progress has been would be helpful too.
Yeah. And maybe, if you're doing it there, you can actually even do maybe a little video with Jeff since he's our first interviewee.
Oh, that would be
Uh,
great. We'll do a little short
yeah.
with him. I'll do that.
Yeah. And so Christmas is Monday. I don't know if we're going to have another big video before Christmas. So if we don't, if you celebrate Christmas, I want to wish everybody a Merry Christmas. And we will see you before the new year.
And happy holidays to those who don't celebrate Christmas, and healthy, wonderful new year where we can work toward our keto lifestyles.
Yeah. All right, Cammy. We'll see you soon. Love
All right,
you.
Karen.
Bye, everybody.
Bye. Take care.